Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiowa, and Sugaree peoples. My name is Rhiannon Estwick, and I will be the worship assistant for Reverend Kaleb Graves today. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors and members, we're very, very glad you're here, in person or with us online. We hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. Now, on to some announcements for this Sunday. Greetings to those of you who are coming from the Salisbury gathering. So glad to see you today. I've seen you all online. It's like, yay! And of course, our Vice President of the Board, Erin, is here as well, so you can catch her after service. There she's waving at you. Now, as you know, Reverend Amy is away on vacation, well-deserved, and study leave until March 4th. If you have a pastoral care concern during this time, please email joysandconcerns@puuc.org, and for any other pressing matter, please contact bot@puuc.org. That's the Board of Trustees' email address. Now, today I'd like to introduce to you Reverend Kaleb Graves, who is going to be our guest leader today. Kaleb, whose pronouns are he, they, is a North Carolina native who is passionate about local, national, and international justice. They graduated from Duke Divinity School in 2023. He is currently working towards an MA in psychology from Fayetteville State University. When he isn't working, he enjoys hiking Grandfather Mountain, which is very cold, swimming in the Haw River, and enjoying the other natural wonders of NC. They have been married to their partner, Hannah, who is right here, for 5 years, and they have 4 cats together. That's delightful. At this time, I'll invite Kaleb up to talk to you about the event after today's service. Kaleb?
Thank you so much. It's good to see so many of y'all today that I know from Friday Action Hour with UU Justice NC, or that I got to meet y'all when I was here last March, I believe it was. And after the service today, I wanted to let y'all know we're going to be having an event which is going to have lunch. Yes, lunch is provided. Thank you, Linda and Sue, who have helped organize all of this. But this will be a time for us to talk about an idea that you're going to hear about today, Zersetzung, which is the decomposition of our souls, to talk about the ways that we are being affected by the current climate and political situation, and consider ways that we can push back and regain our power and autonomy in the world today, especially when it comes to a particular Christian nationalist threat that is targeting your community and wants to take over the Charlotte metropolitan area. So you're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to look over here to get approval again. There's going to be activities for children, correct? There will be activities for children. I got the nod, and I hope to be able to meet many of y'all and talk with many of y'all after the service today. Thank you.
And then I will invite Jennifer to come forward to share important information about an LRE event this week.
I'm a little shorter than them. Just a little bit. Good morning. I'm Jennifer Bauer, and I'm the Lifespan Religious Education Coordinator here at the university and also at the Salisbury location. I just want to invite everyone to join us next Sunday, February 26th at 2 p.m. at the John Calvin Presbyterian Fellowship Hall in Salisbury for a screening of the documentary Inheritance. The film illuminates the underlying causes of the opioid epidemic through the life of Curtis, a bright and hopeful boy growing up amid love, struggle, and addiction across 5 generations of his family. Inheritance offers a moving look at substance use disorder, poverty, joblessness, and the erosion of belonging in American communities. And then a facilitated discussion takes place after the documentary. And then also, while I have you, I also want to do a little announcement about we are currently seeking volunteers for our religious education program to help and support the growth of our youth and children at both locations. You can offer your time occasionally or on a more regular basis in helping creating a welcoming, caring, growing community here at the church. And if you have any questions or want more information, please contact me either before or after the service, or you can email me at jennifer@puuc.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. The UG Women's Group Gathering will be taking place this Saturday at 11:30 in the sanctuary. If you are able, please bring something for a shared potluck. They will be reviewing and voting on the upcoming month's activities. Also bring an inspirational story, memory, or joke to be shared during lunch if that resonates with you. And for any other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you are on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and our weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
The most meaningful chalice lighting reading for me comes from Hannah Zenesh, who was a Jewish partisan fighter in Europe during the middle of the Holocaust and fought to prevent the atrocities being prevented there. After she died, a poem of hers was released about lighting flame. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the secret fastness of our hearts. Blessed is the heart with strength to stop its beating for honor's sake. Blessed is that match consumed in kindling flame. Please join me in singing the words to light our chalice, the symbol of our faith.
Thank you. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out a warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out a warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. And if I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Well, I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's a hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. It's a hammer of justice. It's a bell of freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
Wonderful. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our call to worship, which is hymn number 109 in the gray hymnal. As we come marching.
And if anybody, any young ones that are in the room today, if they want to come down and join us for a time of all ages, you're welcome. And thank you guys for coming joining me on the carpet today. I appreciate it. Today, I want a little help telling our story. We're going to tell a little story about bamboo and the wind. So when I talk about the wind blowing through the bamboo, I want you to put your arms up in the air and blow with the wind. And anybody out here, if you guys want to be some bamboo, put your arms up in the air and blow with the wind. So this is a story, The Bamboo and the Storm, from Zen Buddhism. And if you guys, I wasn't sure if you knew what bamboo was. Have you ever seen bamboo? You've seen it? Have you seen bamboo like this? Right. Pandas eat bamboo. Pandas love bamboo. Oh, that's really interesting. You'll have to tell me more about that. So here's our story. Long ago, in a quiet mountain village, a young monk felt overwhelmed. Storms had battered the fields. The roof of the small temple leaked, and each day more people arrived with worries he didn't know how to ease. One afternoon, the young monk sat with his teacher beside a grove of bamboo. "I don't understand," he said. "Everything feels too heavy. I keep trying to be strong, but the storms, they come, and I don't know how to ease them." The teacher nodded gently, then pointed to the bamboo swaying in the wind. "Watch. A powerful gust comes down the mountain, and the bamboo stalks bend almost to the ground, but they do not break. The wind passed, and they rose strong and steady again." Many people think resilience means standing strong against every challenge. But the teacher said, bamboo teaches us something different. It does not resist the wind, but it bends, and then it rises. The teacher brushed aside a leaf and revealed a small green shoot pushing through the soil. "Look at this one. Only a few weeks old, yet it's already reaching up. It doesn't have to worry about the storms. How many will come? It just keeps growing towards the light." And the young man reached under the stalks, and he shows them that they actually have a series of roots under the ground that connects them one to each other. So when one stalk is weakened, the whole grove helps to hold it up. Resilience is not a solitary path. It grows from connections, just like these roots. So when the wind comes, the bamboo moves together. It supports one another. And something inside the monk shifted, a sense of strength that wasn't just his own, but shared. "I understand now. So when the storms come again, you'll have a community to help support you and hold up against the wind." So one more time, everybody, when the wind comes, we support each other and rise even stronger, growing towards the light. Did y'all like that story? Yeah. All right, you can take it with you. Thank you very much. Do you want to come back and we'll talk a little bit about, again, some more?
As you leave this friendly place, I'll give light to every face. May the kindness reach me like our hopes till I return.
This is our time of ritual and sacred sharing. A time for sharing our joys and sorrows, our concerns and milestones, both those which are everyday and larger ones, which might weigh more heavily or uplift us even more. For this week, we light a candle in observation of Black History Month. For all impacted by ICE raids and activity around our country. For all areas of violence around the world, especially the ongoing wars in Ukraine and Gaza and Sudan. For our country, that we might continue to work towards creating a society filled with love, empathy, civil rights, and justice for all people. And at this time, you are welcome to come up and fill out a prayer card over there on the wall, drop a stone into our shared water, or light your own candle of joy or concern. The worship assistant will hand the candle to you if you wish to light a candle. I invite you to come forward to walk along the outer aisle next to the wall. And we light a few more candles for those things we hold in our hearts that remain unspoken or even not yet known, and for those joining us from elsewhere to honor what is in their hearts as well. I invite you now into a time of quiet rest, meditation, or prayer as we follow the sound of the singing bowl into silence. After a moment of silence, we will have a musical meditation.
This morning's wisdom reading is by Simone Weil. It is from a May 1942 letter to her friend Jo Bouquet, who lived in constant resentment due to a war injury. The most a human being can do is to guard intact his faculty for saying yes to the good, until the time when the moment of limit has almost been reached. It appears to me certain that for you, this moment of limit has not yet arrived. I lack the power to read people's hearts, but it seems to me that there are signs that it is not far distant. Your ability to consent to the good is certainly intact. I think that when you have consented to the good, you will break out of the shell, after an interval, perhaps, but doubtless a short one. And the moment you are outside it, there will be pardon for that bullet which once pierced the center of your body, and thus also for the whole universe which drove it there.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be with you here again today. As I said, I must confess, when I was here to preach for y'all last time, in my personal life, I was having a very, very difficult moment. And it was beautiful to be able to come here on what was a sunshiny day then, to be able to connect with people that shared my values and it felt this need to connect with one another. So I hope we are, like me, in a better place, that the sunshine isn't as necessary today. Now, I've been the congregational mobilizer at the Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry of North Carolina, very long name, for a couple of years now. UU Justice NC, as you might know, is a statewide network that this congregation is a part of, with over 20 other UU churches. We gather each week on Zoom for Friday Action Hour and take action in support of justice and equity around our state. And we have been able to contribute to some significant victories, such as the expansion of healthcare for 600,000 more people, and the UU The Vote Chill teams that some of folks here were a part of, which trained and mobilized over 100 people to keep voters safe at the polls in the 2024 election, something that we'll be doing again in this election. This has been, without a doubt, the best job of my life. It has been meaningful, grounding, beautiful. But I must admit that it has also made me very, very tired. I spend a lot of time reading about, speaking about, and trying to understand suffering, injustice, and prejudice. And it can be profoundly exhausting, as is going to rallies and protests and being the person that people ask to be on the lookout for violence or threats. Having to face down many police officers over the past few years has been exhausting as well, knowing that increasingly they have impunity to do whatever they want to whomever they want. But honestly, all of this exhaustion isn't terribly new for me. I have been fighting for justice either for myself or for others for over a decade. I was raised as a white Christian nationalist. And when I realized that that was an evil thing to be a part of, and I broke away from it, it meant losing my entire community that I had grown up with, family, friends, but it was worth it. You know, I was only 19 when Trump became president for the first time. I was a sophomore in college. This pretty much been my entire adult life has been this. I've been a tireless organizer against occupation in the West Bank and genocide in Gaza, helping to lead the Solidarity Fast for Palestine in 2024. And I've been a part of many of these anti-ICE trainings, especially with what happened with Operation Charlotte's Web here in the area that spilled over into my home city of Durham. And virtually the entire time since I was a teenager, I have had these weird symptoms. I have been physically and mentally exhausted. I have cried almost every day. I've had nightmares and stomach aches and nausea and the shakes that don't seem to have any cause. And there is no diagnosis for this condition. I've tried to get that from the doctors. They call it nerves. But I know what it really is. Zersetzung. Say this with me. Zersetzung. Try it. Go ahead. Keep going. Zersetzung. All right. I think we got this word here. Now, what is Zersetzung? What is this ailment that has taken over my body, and I guarantee you, to some extent or another, has taken over all of yours as well? Well, in East Germany, under the control of the USSR, the police state there was total, and this is where we get that word. As many as 1 in 20 residents of East Germany were secret police informants, placed in every housing complex, every workplace, every bar, every house of worship, every social club. All mail was read and then resealed. Hundreds of thousands were arrested in the early years, often tortured, executed, or kept for decades. But in the 1970s and 80s, the authoritarian regime realized this wasn't working. It turns out that having a strong hand wasn't always the way to keep people in line, because when you kill people, you make martyrs. When you torture people, you make causes. Instead, the secret police decided that they would come up with a much more sinister method of repression, Zersetzung, which is variably translated as decomposition, decay, or corrosion. And it was a strategy of secret psychological warfare. Dissidents were systematically broken down in nefarious but deniable ways. The goal was to break a target down until they had no mental will or physical strength to do anything else. Each act of Stasi Zersetzung would decompose the soul of a person until there was nothing left but a husk where there had once been a vibrant human being. This was done in numerous ways. Performance reviews were artificially lowered in order to keep someone from getting a promotion or more money. Transfers to better jobs were given to somebody less qualified. Opportunities to travel were stifled by unexplained visa revocations. Work assignments were placed across town, but housing assignments were stuck in backlog so that you could have a 2-hour commute across the entire city of Berlin, guaranteeing a long and exhausting time on the tram or in one's car. Sexually explicit photos or falsified photos in an affair were often left for spouses to find. Informants spread rumors of loose morals in churches or friend groups. Gifts and letters were stolen out of the mail to cut off long-distance friendships. Paranoia led to constant accusations that one family or member or another, or maybe a dear friend, was a Stasi spy. Other tactics were more bizarre, intended to cloud the victim's brain and get them to doubt their sanity. So get this, the secret police would break into their apartments and change out the types of tea that they had from their favorite to their least favorite. They would set the alarm clocks to go off at 3 a.m. They would move the furniture around slightly so that they would stub their toes in the dark. And what might be the most nefarious of all, if they learned that someone was struggling with alcoholism, dissidents would come home to a bottle of vodka, empty, poured, and waiting for them. While Zersetzung was pioneered in the allegedly communist East Germany, in terms of something that can be denied, I really think it's been perfected in our country. Did you know that in Los Angeles, this is incredible to me, 150,000 people commute 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week, a full month of their life each year spent in traffic. It's just unbelievable to try to understand. And I know Charlotte's got its own traffic, so y'all are familiar with that some too. But there are ways that our lives have been structured purposefully but deniably to break you down. The Stasi might not be paying dates to ghost us or whispering rumors to our spouses, but the algorithm makes sure that we get those whispers anyways. Dating apps corrode the human search for intimate connection into situationships that barely classify as anything other than a job interview for a romantic partner. Subreddits, advice columns, and TikToks seize on every insecurity you might not even know you have, but the machine knows, to grow that insecurity inside you, break you down until you lose your confidence. Social media and cable television also broadcast constant, gruesome sorrow that no human mind was ever intended to understand all at once. There are burning hospital patients in Gaza, black lung in Kentucky, floods in Asheville and Chapel Hill, disappearances and kidnappings and executions on the streets of Minneapolis, climate change strengthened, hurricanes and floods, tens of thousands of lifelong social servants put on the street while the richest man in the world, who is set to be the first trillionaire ever, wields a chainsaw with a grin from a man who puts people in torture facilities in El Salvador. Our sanity is chipped away as these images and little tragedies of psychic and physical gore are surrounded by dozens and hundreds of spam emails, scam messages, flashing advertisements, and robocalls every single day. Did you know the ambient volume of New York City is about 80 decibels, the same as a siren? In smaller cities, we've tuned a lot of that ever-present noise out, which is often about that of a vacuum cleaner. Our lives, our minds are constantly filled with trauma and noise, 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 noise. above which the nature of the world and our own thoughts about it can't be heard in our own minds. These are the Zersetzung tactics that affect every single working American. High rent and mortgages, low wages, employment instability, medical bills, endless traffic jams, tariff uncertainty, empty noise marketed as entertainment, all of your insecurities and darkest thoughts an AI is figuring out to use against you in screens upon screens upon screens, and opinion pieces, another airstrike, another flood, another elementary school shot up. And when we have a moment of spare time with trusted friends or family, it is much easier, isn't it, to just turn off. To just turn off our minds and not rock the boat. To not mention these things that are breaking us down. Much easier not to ask ourselves as we're broken down day by day, is that really all there is? This is especially tough for right now, included for our Black, Indigenous, and otherwise people of color in this country, for whom regular racism and microaggressions are intended to break down as well. For those who are gay and transgender and gender nonconforming, for which microaggressions and bigotry and discrimination are daily realities. This is all the decomposition of our souls. And then there is the special category, the dissenter, the protester, something that I think all you use at some level or another want to be included in that category. But the dissenter, the protester, is also one who, being affected by Zersetzung, is caught between high rent or mortgage payments and low wages, so that they must constantly ask how far is too far before posting online or going to a protest. For failure to live up to institutional expectations that prioritize donors and endowments over virtue and truth, academics might find that jobs and doctoral program admissions are much harder to come by these days. The dissident minister, especially in our evangelical or mainline churches in this country, might find that they are assigned to quote-unquote low-level rural congregations, while the party line bootlickers work their way up to wealthy congregations in bishopship, where they once again reinforce bigotry and classism. And the more we sell ourselves to the system, the easier it becomes to sell more parts of us. Higher wages mean better housing, which means shorter commutes. It means not have to worry about medical bills. It means not having to worry about your car breaking down. It means that if your relationships are having trouble, you can kind of buy your way out of it for a while. Luxury vacations can do a lot for a struggling marriage or relationship with a spouse or sibling. Money buys quiet. Money buys peace. And that is also how this all grinds you down. The more you compromise, the easier it gets until there is nothing left. Either nothing left because you have been sold, or because all you have to show for it for fighting back is student loan debt and burnout. This is why I cry every day at least once. I am 28 years old, and I am exhausted. I feel the acid of Zersetzung in my marrow, and it hurts very deeply. But every day, in my job and in my community, I find the antidote. This is the reality of the system in which we live, of something that I think we all feel inside but don't have the word for. But the antidote is also right in front of us. Community. This is the same antidote to Zersetzung that the East German dissidents down. By reading books, attending congregations, listening to music, chanting at protests, dancing at parties, committing secret sabotage against the regime, and laughing with friends, the corrosion of our souls can be stopped, even reversed. By sharing one's burdens honestly and fully with trusted friends and family, Zersetzung's potency becomes diluted because people respond, I feel that way too. It's not just you. I feel that way too. You are not weak. I feel that way too. We are in this together. Community, resilience, and resistance is the cure for Zersetzung. Coming to congregations like this, going to protests, volunteering, and other actions can feel like one more thing. I get it. It's exhausting. For working parents, you might wake up in the morning and have to drop the kids off at school, and then you've got to go and do 6 hours of your job, and then you have to pick them up from school, and then drop them off at practice and do an hour of errands while you have the time, and then you pick the kids up from practice and you go home, and then you have to do the errands that you had gone out to do. You have to do the chores at home and cook dinner and help with homework and do a bedtime routine, and 2 more hours of work because there's a deadline tomorrow. There's not space for one more thing. And all of this, of course, like the deadline, is decided for us by C-suite higher-ups who can afford constant eating out, a maid and a live-in nanny. But when we are overcome by exhaustion but choose to engage, even in a small way, something paradoxical happens. And I've seen this over and over again for those experiencing late-stage Zersetzung, the final terminal stages, where they have come to the limiting moment where they can no longer choose the good. When they choose to engage, even in a small way, they find more strength, more courage, more energy at the end, because they have met with people who can relieve their breaking down, because they have found something that makes them get up in the morning besides you have to, because they have found something that says you are part of an ancient story of struggle between good and evil, struggle between the oppressor and the oppressed, struggle between those who want to make money off of your life and treat you like a piece of coal that they can throw into the fire. You are more than that. And when they commit to doing a little bit in a community, it ends up being so much more. This is how we heal the wound of decomposition that has pierced the center of us every day, grinding, killing, soul-crushing machinery punctuated by the very weighty personal and national tragedies that we're never quite allowed to fully grieve before everyday life comes again and the light bill is due. But we can choose to say no together. We can say no to Zersetzung, yes to the good. No to Zersetzung, yes to resistance. No to Zersetzung, yes to community. No to Zersetzung, yes to virtue. No to Zersetzung, yes to solidarity. No to Zersetzung, yes to justice. No to Zersetzung, yes to righteousness. No to Zersetzung, yes to courage. No to Zersetzung, yes to love. Say it with me. No to Zersetzung. No to Zersetzung. I will not decompose. Say it with me. I will not decompose. No to Zersetzung. I will not decompose. No to Zersetzung. We will not decompose. They'll never get you. They'll never get you if you don't let them. And you have a whole field of bamboo here waiting for you. A whole field full of rudeness waiting for you. So that the day comes when you say, I can't do it anymore, there is someone there to hold your hand and say, yes, you can. Say yes to the good. Thank you.
Phew. Good morning. This morning the choir will be singing music that we've sung previously, but given the social action theme of the service and Reverend Kaleb's presence with us this morning, Ann and the choir thought that this is worth a reprise. And who better to reflect the spirit of the service, Maya Angelou, words from the poet, writer, and social activist. The music is gospel style, it's energetic, it's rhythmic, so feel free to tap your feet or clap your hands or move around. But listen carefully as you do that. Listen carefully to the words.
especially the ones that begin the song. The onus is upon us all to work to improve the living condition. The onus is upon us all to work to improve the living condition. The sopranos begin with these words, and each section joins individually until the entire choir is joined in this refrain. So just as Kaleb is challenging us to join together for justice, we also, as Unitarians, are joining together for justice, united in purpose.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now keepers of the dream. This month, we are sharing our offering plate with UU Justice NC. The Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry of North Carolina joyfully organizes UUs to co-create a transformative movement for justice through spiritual grounding, collaboration, and imagination. Our hosts will pass around the baskets, and we ask that you pass them down your row when you receive them. You may place your gifts in the baskets as they make their way around the room. And you are always welcome to give online at puuc.org, that's puuc.org, or by texting PUUC to the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
As always, we thank you, and especially I thank you since I work for the organization you collected for today, for the gifts contained within these baskets and for all the gifts you offer this beloved community. Now let us rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, hymn number 121 in the gray hymnal, We'll Build a Land.
Souls all morning, who will build a promised land.
Before we extinguish the chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers who helped make our worship service today possible. We also ask before you leave today to please place your hymnals back on the cart near the piano. So that's over on that wall. Let us take a moment to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words, for the things in life which we are thankful for today. At this time, you can name a gratitude out loud if you have one, or say it silently to yourself.
Thankful for the rain.
For the healing of music.
Amen.
For a rousing sermon. For a large welcoming congregation.
Yes.
For both of our gatherings.
Yes.
We're glad to have you here, too. It's wonderful to see everybody.
All right. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we wander. May it be so. For our closing hymn, we make a circle. You may hold hands if you want, but you may also stand in the circle and not hold hands and just cross your heart. So I know that this is more amoeba-shaped, but I believe that we can do it.
Maybe some double circle. Yeah, yeah.